Hello, everyone, and welcome to this very special broadcast and live channeled message from the wisdom of the Council and me, Sara Landon. If you are new to our teachings and our work, we are so happy you are here, and we hope you have an incredible, incredible experience today. We have created this very special live broadcast so that you can make this new decade everything you wish it to be, and for you to expand your perspective of what's really possible for your life experience here in 2020 and beyond. So I'm Sara Landon, and I am very happy to introduce you all to Sara Elizabeth. Sara, are you there?
I am, Sara. Can you hear me?
We can hear you great. If you are just meeting Sara Elizabeth for the first time, she is part of our SaraLandon.com team and part of bringing this incredible wisdom of the Council to the world. And I'm so happy to have her here today to help facilitate this conversation and to bring to this call the collective bigger questions that our audience is asking the Council related to how we really begin to move from this decade of transformation that we have all been going through over the last 10 years or so into this decade of mastery and creation. We're also going to talk about how to play and create in new levels of consciousness beyond density and lack and struggle and limitation. And we're also going to have the latest wisdom from the Council, which is always so uplifting, inspiring, enlightening, and surprising. So if you are new to the wisdom of the Council, we're going to share a little bit more with you about the Council and give you a little more of an opportunity to get familiar with them. This call is also a really great opportunity for you to get an exclusive preview of our upcoming course, Decade of the Master, which begins on Saturday, January 11th. To find out more about that, you can visit SaraLandon.com, which is SaraLandon, and click on courses. But for now, enjoy this incredible transmission, this incredible conversation. It is my intention that you leave this call with an expanded, elevated vision for what's really possible for your life, and that you remember that your life truly can be everything that you intended. So, Sara Elizabeth, welcome to the call. Thank you for being here with us. How are you on this fine day?
Oh, I'm doing extremely well. How are you today, Sara?
Oh, so good. I'm really, really excited for this, and we hope there's no confusion. We know we have two Saras here. We're spelled differently, but we'll refer to Sara as Sara Elizabeth, and if you're just joining the call, I'm Sara Landon, and we're so happy you're here.
So I'm really excited to be here, and I'm honored to be able to help represent the group we have on the phone today and the broader audience of the Council and their teachings and their wisdom. I'm really eager about the upcoming course because it really is about what I feel is up for me in my world, especially over the last few months. I've felt like it's all about mastery. I've been on a spiritual path for a long time, and my whole life, really. And for a long time, I was seeking, and I really don't feel like I'm seeking anymore. I feel like I'm enjoying and expanding, and it was when I reached that point that the Council actually found me, and so that's been quite an evolutionary journey beyond where I had already reached. So I'm excited today to be a part of this, and so thrilled to always be a part of your team, Sara. So I'm happy to be bringing this message. But let's take a step back for a moment and maybe tell our guests today who aren't familiar with you a little bit more about you. So Sara is recognized as a globally celebrated leader in the field of human potential and spiritual living. In fact, she's been called a leader of leaders for the next generation of transformation. It's truly remarkable for me to think, Sara, that you're a former corporate professional and entrepreneur who turned to inspirational speaker, spiritual teacher, and a channel for the council. I find it fascinating. Your ability to offer that wisdom gives your clients and students in the courses and our master's class program the ability to create their best possible lives, regardless of any apparent limitations or life circumstances they may be facing in their current situation. And I know that you're really passionate about guiding leaders and way showers, change makers, to discover their unique life's purpose and the power within them to create a positive impact in the world around us. So then you bring in the council, and they have a higher level of consciousness. They're non-physical beings who provide a grander perspective of the human experience and really offer us the wisdom to live out that fullest potential. And I genuinely love that your intention is always for that life-changing wisdom and expanded level of consciousness that can guide you to answer questions like, who am I? And why am I here? What's my life's purpose, and how do I live it? And so it's an honor to be here with you today. Is there anything else you feel inspired to share with our audience today?
Yeah, I just want to give a quick overview for those of you who are familiar, even maybe those who have been listening for a while. One of the questions I get so often is, who is the council? And I think from our perspective within this human experience, where we're perceiving life through our physical senses, it's difficult sometimes to imagine that there is this intelligence that is beyond the physical body or the physical life experience. There is this level of consciousness that we tend to not even realize is available to us because we are perceiving life and our reality through our physical senses. And for most of us, we've been living at a rate of vibration or a frequency that doesn't allow us to access these higher levels of consciousness that are always available to us. I truly believe more than ever before, people are waking up not only to more of what's really going on here, but waking up to their own talents and abilities to connect with something beyond what we can even maybe explain in this human experience. And so we know there's more. And yet, for many of us, we've had these experiences of maybe having channeled automatic reading, or we sit down to journal and this beautiful wisdom comes through us, or maybe we're standing with a friend or a loved one, and all of a sudden these words come through us, this wisdom that we don't really know where it came from. Maybe we don't even remember exactly what we said. It just came through you. And that was my experience of the council. I had some very spontaneous experiences of having this wisdom come through me, both in automatic writing and in conversations, until one point of my life when this higher level consciousness actually began to speak through me in a process which we refer to as channeling, which is really just me sort of allowing my consciousness to merge with a higher consciousness, and this grander viewpoint, this higher awareness, this elevated level of consciousness streams through me. And I can tell you, it's so from a perspective of absolute pure love and supporting you, guiding you to really live your fullest potential. One of the questions I get from people once they have come to the council's wisdom, to understand this wisdom of the council that comes through me, that they ask the question so often, who am I really? Have you ever been in this point in your life where you continue to ask yourself, who am I? Why am I here? What is my purpose for being here? And if you do start to sense what your greater purpose is, then the question often becomes, how do I really live it? And the council's perspective on what your purpose is and why you're here might be beyond anything you could have ever imagined for yourself. But the basis of this is that you are here to bring forth a higher level of consciousness, a new template for what life can look like and what's really possible and the potentials here in this life experience. When you expand your own consciousness, you expand the potentials and the possibilities for all of human consciousness. And we are now living, I believe, and the Council says, at a time where we can more easily elevate our consciousness to see this life experience from a much grander perspective. If you have been on a spiritual path for a while, or you follow certain teachers in the personal development or spiritual or consciousness world, we may talk about this idea of heaven on earth, or moving from a third dimension of consciousness into a fifth dimension of consciousness. And coming from a corporate background, coming from an entrepreneurial background, I tend to consider myself a really practical, normal person. And I heard these concepts and theories throughout my own spiritual journey, but I didn't really know how to apply them in my life. And I often question why they really mattered. If you can't apply them and live them as your life experience, why does it matter? And the intention of these teachings is to help you integrate this higher level of wisdom, this elevated state of being, into your own life experience, so that you can experience heaven on earth, so that you can remember that you are meant to play and create in this experience of form, which is the human experience. And now more than ever, I know that is possible. And so we're going to talk about that today. If you are, I'll just say a little bit more, Sarah, if you're okay with it.
Absolutely.
I just want to share a piece that I think is really important. I tend to find that the people that are drawn to the wisdom of the Council often can relate to having gone through a major significant experience in their life somewhere around 2007, 8, 9 timeframe, where the life that you were living was either no longer working for you, you knew you weren't really living your purpose, but maybe you didn't know what your purpose was, or maybe the life that you knew started to fall apart or fall away, and you had no idea how to move forward. But this created an initial opportunity for you to start asking bigger questions and get clear on what you wanted in your life. And for many of us, I know for me, I was on a spiritual path. I was very into personal development and really wanting to live the best possible life and be successful. And around that time, 2007, 2008 timeframe, I experienced a death of my brother. I went through an experience of having cancer. I went through divorce. Everything in my life shifted. The business and career that I had spent years and years building no longer felt like the place where I belonged. And I didn't know where I belonged. But it began this journey, which led to a decade of transformation. And the Council says that this was all absolutely intentional. Every single one of you who can relate to this have been going through this decade of transformation. And it's incredible. You were moving through essentially a state of consciousness where you were focused on returning to your innocence, purifying your belief in what was possible, learning to move beyond the limitation that you had learned in this experience, and to reemerge back into connection with this incredible power that will absolutely guide your life in the most easy, effortless, harmonious way. But if you are like me, I did not go easily into this whole idea of letting go of how I had learned to create success in my life, which was massive determined action, setting lots of goals, creating this vision board, and then doing anything and everything I possibly could to try so hard to make that happen. In all cases, I did achieve those goals, but they didn't lead to the fulfillment and certainly didn't lead to the joy and the happiness. And maybe more important than anything, they didn't lead to the freedom that I so deeply desired in my life, to live the life I wanted to live. And it was through the wisdom of the council that I was able to go through that transformation that many, many hundreds and hundreds of other people that have been part of this incredible wisdom of the council were also able to make that transformation into this time of really knowing who you are, why you are here, and knowing that your life can be a joyous, peaceful, harmonious experience where you are really fully satiated by the reality that is presenting itself around you. And so if you can relate to that, you probably have spent a lot of time, probably gone through a lot of courses, read a lot of books, done a lot of work during this time of transformation. And I truly honor the work you have done on yourself, the focus we have had on healing, the courage to change and to move through this transformation. And the council tells us that now we are here in this time of the decade of the master, learning to live mastery, not just read about it, not just know about it intellectually, but actually live this greater mastery and be the master of your life experience, which means to know that you have the freedom to create the life you want to live no matter what your circumstances or what your current conditions. It is a shift in your consciousness. And it's also about understanding that we can experience what we would maybe refer to as miracles or these magical experiences every day of our life, where your life really is filled with synchronicity and divine orchestration so that you can trust completely to stay in the flow. You can trust completely in the universe to divinely orchestrate all things in your highest good. And you come to this awareness that life is absolutely happening for you, not to you. And I can tell you in my own life, back in 2007, 8, 9, maybe sometimes around 2011, 12, it felt like life was happening to me, and I had no control. And fast forward to now, I know with absolute certainty that our lives are always unfolding for us. And I never would have thought that I could get to this place, especially being a type A, go-getter, very organized person, that I would ever get to this place where I no longer needed to set a bunch of goals or make a bunch of plans or even worry about how to make it happen, because I totally trusted in not only the universe, but we come to this place of being able to totally trust yourself, to stay conscious, to stay present. And in that, you will always know the next perfect step. You will always know with clarity and certainty. And you will always feel a sense of choicelessness in not helplessness, but from a fully empowered state. You will know the next perfect step for you. That's practical magic to me. And then we begin to move into this decade of the master where we really fully understand how we are creating our reality. The Council says that your perception is what is creating your reality. You are creating your reality through your perception. And when you shift your perspective or your perception, when you elevate your awareness, when you move into a higher state of consciousness, you go beyond manifestation. Because manifestation says that where I am right now is not where I want to be. It's not. I don't have what I want. I don't have what I need. And so we go outside of ourselves when creation is really standing in the I am creator energy, frequency, awareness of all that you are and everything that's possible for you, every potential, every possibility. And you draw that into your force field. From higher states of consciousness, and I'm happy to talk about the different states of consciousness, Sarah Elizabeth, if you think that's a great conversation for our audience. But from a higher state of consciousness, it's really important that you understand something. And this is the reality of the creation of reality. You don't get what you want. You don't get what you need. You don't get what you take massive action on. From higher states of consciousness, you get more of what you already are. There can be no other way. So unless you find it within you and direct every cell of your body to align with that which you want to create more of, you will always be stuck in density, in limitation, in the third dimension, where there's fear and worry and separation and judgment and prejudice. And it will always feel like you are rolling a boulder up the hill in the mud with big heavy boots on. And that's why it feels like you can hear this incredible wisdom and then say, but why isn't this working for me? It's because you're trying to take this elevated state of consciousness and move it down into density, into lack, into limitation. And we no longer ever have to move into density and lack and limitation and struggle and suffering to create our lives the way we want them to be, to create more of all that we are, and to know ourselves as the creator within your own creation. And then you start perceiving that it's possible to live in heaven on earth most all of the time. And when you find yourself in a state of consciousness where you're in the mud, when you're in those lower states of consciousness, you know how to get back to a higher state of consciousness. You know it's not about going to a different geographical place. It's not about changing your physical conditions. It's about being able to get into a state of consciousness where you are experiencing heaven on earth because that's what you're perceiving. And then we can begin to live our lives more fully, love our lives, and live in a state of being totally satiated in your life experience, being totally satiated in the present moment more of the time. If you take something away from this call, I would love for you to remember that one simple sentence, that it's possible to feel totally satiated in the present moment more of the time. If you're going to set any goal for this year, if you're going to set any intention for the new year or any resolution you make for this decade ahead, let it be to feel fully satiated in the present moment more of the time. And that will create a field around you, a space around you where you begin to draw to you more joy, more peace, more love, more harmony, more beauty, more abundance, more clarity, and more fun than you have ever experienced in your life until now. So I'll take a pause. Sara, does that all make sense to you?
So many things that you said here. In fact, probably my favorite thing that I heard the council say recently was on our New Year's Day special message call for the master's class, and it was that the only reason you care about the future is you aren't totally satiated in the now. And that rang true for me in the moment, and I have been thinking about it frequently since. I love it.
Yeah.
There are a number of things that you said that I really think our audience will relate to. I mean, this decade of transformation that we've been going through, and everyone has had some kind of experience where, as you said for yourself, it wasn't easy for you to let go of those sort of old ways of doing things, the habitual ways of doing things, the ways that you knew. And the other thing that I think everyone can also relate to is whether or not they are expressing a gift in the way that you are, Sara, as you let the wisdom of the council come in. Everyone has access to this higher perspective, and everyone is receiving it, whether, as you described, in a conversation you're having with a friend or a family member, and suddenly you hear yourself saying things and you think, I've done this many times, where did that come from? But you know it's true. With every fiber of your being, you know that it's true. And it's so wonderful. And I love how you bring in these different examples, and you were talking about your experience and how you didn't see yourself in a certain way. You sort of, I don't know if normal is the right word, because what does that even mean? So you're just a normal person, right? And so recognizing that everyone, and you've said it over and over, everyone is capable of these greater perspectives of living beyond that place of density and creation rather than focusing on manifestation.
Yeah.
And one of the things, sorry.
No, please continue.
Well, one of the things that I have noticed with the way that you approach your teachings, where you have this wonderful wisdom of the council readily available, but you also offer so much in your integration calls for the master's class program and in the integration aspects of the courses that you offer. And that's a big difference from what I've seen in other experiences that I've personally had, where people have this information, now go out and apply it and use it in the world, and it's pure and it's beautiful and it's wonderful, and then they go, but how?
Yeah.
And so it's very practical, for lack of a better word. It's extremely practical to have the integration and the conversations and the discussions, and that's a huge difference that I've noticed in your community. It really is a community. It isn't just you in the integration calls. It's the community of people coming together and really working with one another synergistically to live their best life and, to come up with deeper, fuller, richer questions and clarifications. And I just thought I would bring that up if there's anything else you want to share about that.
Yeah. Oh, well, thank you. I brought up a couple of things that I think are so important. I can't reiterate enough that I believe every single one of us, if you are here listening to this, if you are on this spiritual path, if you have done the work that you have done to be at this place of awareness and consciousness, you are absolutely here in this time of the Great Awakening with something significant and important to offer humanity. And for many of us, when we start to have some sense of awareness of an ability we maybe have no idea how we have this ability, or we feel this connection to some higher awareness, whether it's channeled information or different awarenesses of awakening codes, or just being one that is leading others through difficult times of moving and shifting out of feeling helpless to feeling a little bit better, right? Most all of you can relate to knowing that you're kind of that person in your life. But what happens is we tend to look at those people that are on stages or have written books or are well-known in the industry, and we compare what we do to what they do, and I think, well, maybe I'm not doing it right. I'm a person who, in my journey, I'm not a seer. I don't consider myself one who, I don't see angels. I don't see people in non-physical or things in non-physical. I also don't really get psychic information. People tend to think that if you're in this realm, you do all of it, and you really don't. And one of the best courses we ever did that helps to address this thing particularly is the 11 spiritual roles of the soul, where the council talked about there are those that are here as healers. There are those that are here as channels, which they call messengers, and there's all sorts of different types of messengers. I have a wonderful client who's also part of the master's class who receives messages from people that have made their transition, and they write letters through her to their loved ones. That's not my experience. I receive a collective of non-physical that has an elevated state of consciousness that is here helping us live our highest potential. And my abilities have expanded, but I didn't know anyone else that did it quite like I did it, so I thought maybe I didn't do it right. And one of the things that I have felt about this work is this was never about me becoming a guru standing on a stage saying, I've got it all figured out, and here's what you need to do. In fact, I remember making this promise to myself. I saw myself standing on a stage saying, and I say it to you all now in this format, whatever you see in me, however you're inspired by this, the power is not in me. We all have the same power. We all have the same ability to connect into a higher state of consciousness and awareness that will guide you, that will be so loving and will always offer you the highest perspective in any situation. You all, every single one of you, if you're listening to this, I believe you're here to be way showers. And for me, at certain times in my life, I saw people that I cared about, and I had this incredible spiritual wisdom and personal development concepts that I had learned, and I saw these people that I loved, and I wanted to fix them. I wanted to help them. I wanted them to do what I had learned so that they felt better. And it usually ended up sort of firing back at me is them feeling judged by me. And that's not how I meant it, but I certainly can understand now that that's how it felt to them. So sometimes we get resistance when we're trying to share this incredible wisdom that we have. And I realized that at some point in my journey that I wanted to not only share what I think is the most incredible wisdom that I myself have ever come across in the human experience. I am so blessed to have had many, many, many influences in personal development and spirituality, and I've been so blessed, but I had so many questions still. I couldn't find the answers that I was looking for of how I really, really lived my highest potential. How do we really live beyond limitation and struggle and worry and lack and fear And there's something within me that knew that I didn't have to struggle through this unwanted experiences to get clear on what I really did want to experience in my life. And I couldn't find those answers. And they started coming through me. And when I started channeling the council, I did not want to be weird. I did not want to be woo-woo. But I was also applying the wisdom that was coming through me from the council, and it was changing my life like nothing I had ever experienced. And it was wisdom like I had never experienced. And I made myself the promise that I was never going to hold myself at a standard that I had to be perfect, but I also was not going to give myself the excuse anymore. Well, I'm just only human. Because I would say, well, I'm just human. Of course I'm going to worry sometimes. I'm only human, so of course I'm going to gossip and be judgmental. Well, I'm only human, so of course I'm never going to feel like I'm good enough. Some of you can probably relate to that. And maybe the biggest one was, well, I'm only human, so I'm just never going to feel like I'm enough. I'm always going to be on this journey of trying to be enough. And the very basis of setting goals, of trying to pursue this purpose, and trying to manifest everything you think you're supposed to manifest, at the very core, underneath it all, is motivated by fear. So it's always going to bring with it, no matter what goal you achieve, it's still going to be latent in some level of fear or lack, because the goal originated from fear and lack. Underneath it all is the fear that you're not good enough, and that if you do enough, you'll be enough. If I make more money, am I better at this, if I'm better at that, if I look better, if I have a spouse or a soulmate, if I do all these things, then I'll be enough, or I'll be good enough. This constant hamster wheel we keep ourselves on. But underneath that is the fear that you might get your life purpose wrong, that you might fail at your purpose for being here, that you might actually not fulfill this grander plan that the divine or God or source has for your life. You could lose the chance to realize your destiny. And I assure you, with all of my heart, that nothing could be farther from the truth. But it is a shift in your perspective, a shift in your awareness of how you look at life and how you look at your life purpose. And so for me, not only did I want to bring this incredible wisdom from the council that changed my life beyond my wildest dreams to anybody and everybody who was ready for it. And as Sara Elizabeth said, the council finds you. The council finds you. I just have no other way to explain it. They just find you when you're ready. And it is a feeling, the first time you hear them, like you are coming home to you, like you are coming home to the truth within you. The feeling of coming home. But in addition to this incredible wisdom, I felt like what was missing out there for me in other things that I had pursued to really try to understand who I was and why I was here and what my purpose was, is the integration piece. The taking this wisdom and really talking about how we practice it, how we apply it in our life, how we live it, and celebrating the incredible transformations that occur, celebrating the magical, miraculous, out-of-this-world, incredible things that happen when we practice and apply this wisdom. but also really being willing to go deeper into how we integrate this in a really transparent, loving way. And one of the things that I noticed a few years ago in this work is that many people are coming to the council and saying, how do I unmanifest all this stuff that I manifested? I want to unmanifest it all. I don't really want to work that hard in the business. I don't really want to be in that house anymore. And it's because on this journey, you're continuing to expand. You're continuing to evolve. You're becoming just more and more and more of who you are. And so at times we can almost create a sense of fear to want to manifest something because we've done that and we got what we wanted and it wasn't what we thought, and it certainly didn't fill that feeling of emptiness within us that we still didn't know if we were living our purpose, and we didn't know what it was, and even worse, this fear that we could potentially get our life purpose wrong. And so I would say one of the incredible things about our Master's Class community is that not only do they support each other in living it and integrating it and celebrating each other's gifts and living at this level of consciousness, but we are expanding this collective of wisdom. The council says, whether you're in a private session or you're in a course with us or you're part of the Master's Class or a call like this, when people ask, who is the council? They are absolutely a higher consciousness, a elevated perspective of the human experience from non-physical beings who have that grander viewpoint. However, they are also a collective consciousness of all of our higher selves. They know exactly what you need to hear because your higher self is part of this experience, is part of the vibration and the collective that comes through. And you have access to that all the time. But for most of us, in this focused time together, we make these shifts collectively because of the vibration and the consciousness that comes through on these calls. So it doesn't matter when you're listening to this. It's the perfect time. It's just exactly when you needed to hear it. But one of the things that tends to happen as we're collectively getting ready for a new course, like what's coming up this Saturday, January 11th, which is our newest course, Decade of the Master, we start living the wisdom even before it starts to come through in the calls and in the courses and in the sessions that are part of this call. And so I know however you found this, it's because the council found you because you're ready. It's because your higher self is part of this. And they say, we are here because we promised we would be, so that you never forget who you really are. And it's my absolute joy and passion to help, not even help. I really am working on being impeccable. One of the things that the council talks to us about is being really impeccable with what you say. And this is a perfect example of how I practice it and talking about how we integrate it. You're a fully sovereign being, and the power that creates worlds flows through you. You don't need help. Maybe some guidance so that you can remember what's possible for you. Maybe guiding you to remember that there is a better way beyond the limitation in lower states of consciousness. But I believe all of you who are listening to this are way showers. You are here to show others what's really possible in whatever unique way that you do it in your life. But you living your life to the fullest, you living beyond limitation, you living your highest potential, you seeding human consciousness with your own greater awareness is the greatest gift you give to the people you love, to the people in your life, and to this world. And so I honor all of you, that you too are absolutely way showers. You are leaders. You are change makers. You are, in your own way, here to be the light of the world, your world, and the world around you. And the council and I are merely here to guide you to living your life to the fullest. So,
yes.
Sarah Elizabeth, I'll pause for a second.
Oh, my gosh. Yes, yes, yes. You know, again, so many things that come up for me there. The council often talks about how the relationships in our lives that we share, these people are our playmates. Whatever label we might think we have for them, whether it's our partner or our spouse or our sibling or our parent or our friend or our boss, these people are our playmates in the world. And I'm so honored to be able to play with you, Sarah, with the entire Master's Class community, with all of the way showers on this call. And I loved how you were talking about not being able to get it wrong. It's impossible for you to not get your life's purpose right. And it reminded me of another, just crystal clear moment that I had during our most recent course, The Courage to Leap, when the council said, your soul's desires are about experience, expression, and expansion, and that's it.
Yeah.
Oh. So
let's say that again. Your life purpose is about expression, fully expressing all that you are, expanding into everything that's possible for you, becoming the most expanded version, which means your consciousness, your perspective, your vibration, and experience, that we move out of what am I supposed to do, what am I supposed to do, what am I supposed to do, to what experience do I want to have? Your life is about expression, fully expressing all that you are, expansion, and experience. And you can do that from the vantage point of a master of your life experience. Yeah,
absolutely.
Thank you for bringing that up. It's so important.
You brought it up. I just reflected it back to you. So what I think is, if you're ready for it, I'm ready to bring in the council and to hear some of their thoughts on some of the things that we've been talking about. You've already talked so much about how we're moving from this decade of transformation into a decade of mastery and creation. And I think that ties in with what you were mentioning earlier, too, about the different dimensions that we talk about, 3D, 4D, or 5D. So maybe they'll talk a little bit about that. I love hearing them talk about creating and how if you try to bring things into density, the impact that it has on time. And so I'm just eager to hear about playing and creating in this beautiful consciousness without that density, without that lack and that struggle and any perceived limitation that we may have. So if you're ready, I'm ready.
Absolutely. So we're going to bring in the council, which will be a live channeled message for you, which is based on the collective of all of us here and those of us who are ever going to listen to this. So there's really nothing for you to do but open your heart and just allow it in. We are going to start with a message, and then we're going to go to a live Q&A, and we'll get to as many of your questions as we can. We promise to share an overview in this call today of our new course, Decade of the Master, living mastery, practical magic, and creation of reality. And if you want to join us for that live course, which is starting this Saturday, January 11th, if you cannot join the live calls, or if you're listening to this at a time when the course has concluded the live portion, you can always go back into the replays and receive the incredible energy and transmissions that come through. I truly believe if you're going to listen to it at some point, your collective is present in that conversation. So Decade of the Master starts this Saturday. It's going to be a
excited.
Yes, me too. It's going to be a 5-part channeled course with the Council. It is going to be over the course of 5 Saturdays for 2 hours each Saturday. The replays will all be provided. All the calls will be recorded. There will be transcripts of all of the calls. And I hope you will all consider joining us for that. If it speaks to you and it feels right to you, you can find out more about that at saralandon.com, which is SaraLandon, and click on courses, and you'll see the very first one that pops up there is Decade of the Master. And if you click on that, you can read an explanation of the course. I'm just going to really quickly for a moment here touch on that because I think it's really important. This course is about guiding you to living mastery and the effortless, impeccable creation of your life experience the way you want to experience it. And so the Council tells us that a master is one who has risen to a higher consciousness and perspective of the human experience, one who consistently practices maintaining elevated levels of consciousness, frequency, vibration, and light, one who remembers how to open and allow energy to serve with effortless ease, and one who has expanded beyond needing and wanting to align with creation. The Master is one who is free to live the life that they choose. The Master is one who illuminates the potential for humanity. The Master is one who allows all things with ease and grace. And the Master is one who dances with the beauty of all of creation. And one of my favorite things that the Council says is, your perfection is guaranteed. So you doing this all perfectly is not required. Only your desire to really know yourself as the master that you are, and your deep desire to experience enlightenment or self-realization or the I am presence here in this life experience. And that when you do, that's the greatest legacy you could ever leave. What greater purpose could there be? And so in this course, Decade of the Master, which is starting live on Saturday, January 11th, we're going to be diving much deeper into all of these topics. You can read more about the course on saralandon.com, SaraLandon, and click on courses, click on Decade of the Master, and you'll find much, much, much more information. So before I bring in the Council, Sara, anything, Sara Elizabeth, did I miss anything there? Anything you want to add about the course?
I don't think you've missed anything. The only thing that I really feel inspired to say is I do feel like this is the place that we're going as a collective consciousness of way showers, and that is why I'm so excited about playing in that energy.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So the replay and the recording of this call here will be placed on our website, saralandon.com, under free resources. If you click on that, you will find the replay and the recording to this live call that we're doing right now. And please feel encouraged to share that with anyone who you think would enjoy listening to this and be inspired by the message that we're sharing here today. So you can find the replay, the recording of this, at our website, saralandon.com, under free resources. Okay, so if you are new to the council, a couple of things as we get ready to bring in their incredible energy, vibration, wisdom, love, all of it. They're going to start with a message for us, and then they will go to your questions. When we conclude the call, they will say their goodbye to all of you in the way that they do, which is always so incredible. And I encourage you to just take a moment after they recede and just notice the state of awareness you're in. Notice the state of consciousness you're in. Notice that maybe for the first time in your life, you just have this sense that all is well, that there's nothing you really need to know because it's all within you and all is well. And you can just fully be here and now. So if you've never heard me channel the council, my voice changes a little bit. The cadence of my speaking changes a little bit. I encourage you, if you're in a place that you can do so, when we bring in the council and you're feeling the transmission of energy that they bring in, if you're in a place you can do so, just close your eyes and let yourself fully receive this experience. So I'm going to go ahead and bring in the council, and then we'll go to your questions. This is the last time I will speak to all of you, so I just want to thank you for being here on this call with all of us. I love you all. I'm so grateful that I get to be in this incredible community of Wayshowers. I'm so grateful to be a vessel for this wisdom, and I'm so grateful to be here with all of you. So thank you for joining this call. And with that, let's go ahead and bring in the incredible wisdom of the council. We are so pleased and delighted to have the opportunity to speak with you all on this fine and glorious day. And while we tell you our words to you are important, this is a vibrational experience of the truth of who you really are and why you are here and what you intended when you chose this magnificent life experience so that it can be everything you wish it to be. Indeed, your purpose for being here is to remember that you are everything you wish to be. You already are. It is all within you. It always has been, and something within you knows that. We assure you that you have been preparing for some of you lifetimes, but certainly throughout this lifetime, for this time now, for you to step into fully realizing the master that you are and knowing the power within you to be the fullest expression of who you are. Many of you hold within you the seeds of potential, the seeds of possibility, and you're here to sprinkle those seeds throughout all of human consciousness so that consciousness can grow from the seeds that you sprinkle, through the light that you shine, through the love that you bring. And yet you have made it so much more difficult than that. You have made this a struggle. You have made it difficult. You have explored suffering and lack and limitation. You have explored every corner, every aspect, every single experience of limitation, of yourself in limitation. So allow this new year, this new decade, this new you to explore your unlimited potential in every single possibility of greatness that is here for you. There's somewhere within you that you know heaven on earth is possible for you. You hear things like a new earth. You hear of heaven on earth. You hear of these idealistic ways of living where things are beautiful and abundant and peaceful, and where humans and the animals and the land coexist harmoniously, and where you yourself can create and play with effortless ease. There's something within you that has deeply desired that more than anything. And more than anything, you want freedom. Freedom to live your life and experience life the way you want to experience it. And in that, you will inspire others that it is possible for them to also live a grander potential than what they have ever been told was possible for them in their life experience. You are indeed moving from a time of transformation. We'd like to talk a bit more about this. You may hear these conversations about different levels of consciousness, and we tell you they're not a different place. This is not about leaving the human experience in order to live in heaven on earth. This is not about getting everybody else to agree with your vision of what a new earth should be so that you all decide to choose the same thing. It is not about you having to leave the physical form to elevate the levels of consciousness that are available to you. This is about you remembering that it is possible to live a life experience beyond fear and judgment and lack and limitation and worry and struggle and suffering, because those things only exist in lower dimensions of consciousness. This is so important. It is so important, and many of you know this on some level but have never heard it before. All it takes to transcend your life beyond lack and suffering and struggle is to elevate your state of consciousness, which elevates your frequency and vibration, which makes anything and everything possible for you, because from that state you align with creation and you begin to know yourself as the creator within your own creation, the master of your life experience. And this time for you now, this new year, this new decade, this new you, is about you knowing that you are the master of your life experience. Understand this about creating. What many of you have considered creating is thinking that you're creating from nothing and turning it into something. But we'd like to shift your perspective. All that is an extension of you. Everything really has been created, yet it is always expanding and becoming more, because you're always expanding and becoming more. Creating is to take all that is and put it into some enjoyable use for you, to create some enjoyable, purposeful, interesting experience for yourself. Many of you are still trying to create to please everyone else. You want to create businesses and services and products that help people and fix people and heal people. But the very judgment that they need to be fixed or they need to be saved or they need to be healed is what keeps you entangled in limitation and feeling stuck and unable to create what you want to experience. So when you understand the transformation that has been occurring, you have been in what we call the third dimension of consciousness for most all of your life, most all of your lives, most all of your experiences in form. You are a multidimensional being. There's many aspects of you, but you're focused here in form. And most all of your experience in form has been in a third dimensional state of consciousness. It is not a different place. It's a state of consciousness where your vibration and your frequency, your frequency is your rate of vibration. This is why and only why vibration matters, because your frequency and your rate of vibration determine the level of consciousness you're in, the state of consciousness you're in, and the state of consciousness you're in determines what's available to you, which means how much power you have, how much light you carry, how easy and effortless and harmonious your life experience is for you. So in the third dimension, it is about polarity. There is lack, there is limitation. You have to do, push, force, control, and put a lot of effort into creating anything, because you are relying on a state of consciousness where all you sense is your physical abilities and talents. You are perceiving life in a third dimension of consciousness through your physical senses, what you see, what you hear, what you taste, what you touch, what you smell, and what you think. Your thinking affects your perspective, your perception of what you think is possible for you. So as many of you had awakening experiences in the past 10 years or so, and maybe earlier on than that, but maybe the intensity got turned up a bit in 2007, 2008, 2009. And you more fully began to awaken to the possibility that there is more, that you are more, and that more is possible for you. So you began to move into a fifth dimensional state of consciousness, a fourth dimensional state of consciousness. You went from a third dimensional to having some moments of popping into the fifth dimensional, but most of the time you were in the fourth dimension of consciousness, which is where you are purifying, where you are transforming, where you are sort of playing between your old ways of doing and being and who you thought you were to a deep desire to be a more expanded version of you. But yet you often bounce down into the third dimension of consciousness because that's where you were, hovering between the third and fourth dimension. And as you began to really purify your thoughts, your beliefs, your judgments, and we tell you, if you want to move quickly through fourth dimensional states of consciousness, third dimensional states of consciousness, if you want to elevate your life to heaven on earth, to a new earth, to all that's possible for you, if you remember one and only one thing, it is that your judgment of yourself, of others, of the world, and what is right and what is wrong is always the thing that will entangle you in lower dimensions of consciousness, of fear, of worry, of struggle, of limitation, of lack. Your judgment. When you begin to elevate your state of consciousness into knowing that everything is always working out, there is a grander perspective. There is far more going on here than you can see. And it's not your job to figure it out. It is not your job to determine who's wrong and who's right and what they've done that's bad. And most all of the time, you're in judgment of others and what they are choosing as free will creators of their life experience. Let them be. You can be everything you wish to be, no matter what anybody else chooses. You're judging the world around you and what's going wrong. And as soon as you entangle with the judgment, you are in fear. And you move yourself down into lower dimensions of consciousness that don't feel very good to you. Because some part of you has already been informed in those higher states of consciousness and had moments of feeling totally satiated and feeling pure bliss and knowing with absolute certainty that all is well and that there's a grander plan going on here and that you're a part of it. But your part of the grander plan is not to judge others and whether they are doing is right or wrong. As you move beyond judgment and really practice shifting out of judgment to being present and conscious in the moment and aware of your energy, your state of consciousness, your rate of vibration, you can move yourself back into a higher state of consciousness where there is ease and grace, and you move forward through inspiration, not by this motivation to avoid unwanted circumstances or to fix what's wrong. The fifth dimensional state of consciousness is of absolute knowing of your oneness with all that is and the power to create your life through the I am creator frequency, knowing yourself as the center of your universe and powerfully directing the energy that flows to you into the field around you, where you draw to you more of what you already are. And it could not be more simple, but it is a practice because you have learned and become very good at living in density and going into fear and going into worry and old thought patterns and old beliefs and all of your old stories of who you used to be, which just hold you in limitation. So, as you move into the decade of the Master, you're moving into the decade of living fully in the fifth dimensional state of consciousness most all of the time, which is where heaven on earth is here for you, where you begin creating what is possible in a new earth through the way you are living your life experience. And you will know yourself as free to be all that you are. You really are free. You could not be more free. You are everything you wish to be. You already are. And so while freedom is behind everything you want, if you want money, if you want more money, it's so that you have the freedom to do what you want to do when you want to do it, so that you're free of worry and free of having to effort and work and struggle. Freedom is at the basis of money. If you want a healthier body beyond pain and disease, it's because you want the freedom to live your life and go out and explore and be in the world. You want to be free of the pain, free of the disease. All desire for well-being and perfect health is freedom. And we'll tell you, your desires for creating your own business, creating your own services and products is so that you're free to express yourself in form, free to create, using and taking all that is and putting it into some enjoyable form for you. But your relationships and your desire to find your soulmate, your twin flame, the one true one, even that is based in a desire for freedom. Because if you were with that one person who really gets you, you would be free to be who you really are. You'd be free to open your heart and let all of that love out. You would be free to be happy and joyful and innocent again. Innocent. think about the word innocence, because that is the basis of moving from the fourth dimension to the fifth, is returning to your innocence. Innocence is free. Innocence is freedom. If you think of a child, the innocence of a child, they're happy, they're peaceful, they're free, they play, they have fun. They believe anything and everything is possible. You can return to your innocence. It is merely a state of consciousness beyond judgment, where you set yourself free. And you play and you create in a new level of consciousness, where life is everything you intended it to be, which is easy, effortless, and harmonious. And that doesn't mean you don't take action, but the actions are clear and certain, and it's much more about being in the flow. And the next perfect step just presents itself to you. The future comes to you. And you feel so deeply aligned to the unfolding. And it's also about moving from what you should do or doing, to starting to shift your perspective on what you want to experience and what you want to experience more of. That is the master. And this is the decade of the master. You fully realizing the master that you are of your life experience. Feeling totally satiated in the present moment, here and now. That is the master. So, we're going to go to your questions now, and we look forward to hearing from you. So, our first question, are you there?
Hello. Hello, Council.
Hello, our friend.
Thank you. I would appreciate your insight on how I can go about and raise my consciousness to change my perception, to change my experience, because I thought that I was getting better, things were improving, and I was going into more of a consciousness of the I am creator, but some things have come straight to my door that I truly don't want.
So you don't have to go into the story. So
okay.
Don't go into the story. When something shows up for you,
yes,
the first shift in perspective is to see it as happening for you, not to you. Because in you saying this is unwanted, you
yes.
immediately go into resistance and reaction, which lowers your frequency, your vibration. It creates resistance, and it moves you down into density, and you will find yourself in a very limited state of consciousness, which will move you into fear and worry.
Yes, that's where I'm going.
The resistance and the reaction of the unwanted. So the very first thing is taking a moment, taking a breath, and saying, I may not understand in this moment how this is happening for me. I may not know how this is happening for me, but I choose to believe, to know, to trust that everything is always working out for me, that this is happening for me. I know in time there will be a gift. I know this is an opportunity, and I know this is happening for me. That's the first step. And if you do nothing else, that is the most important practice. Practicing, not reacting and getting triggered by circumstances, but by being able to stay in your power in the moment and create your reality. If you go into this as unwanted and you create resistance and you go into reaction and you start moving into density and you slow your rate of vibration, you move into more limitation and you move into fear, and then you're trying to figure out how to fix a problem that is unwanted from a very heavy state of density and not in a higher state of perspective. So first practice that.
Okay.
And then when you feel a little better, if you stay in the moment and breathe, we give you a process that will absolutely change your life if you do it. It is simple. So if you hear it and go, well, that's just so easy, how could it change my life? If you do it, it will change things for you. Okay. Tell us what you want to create more of in your life right now.
Peace.
Peace. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath. Shift your awareness from your head down into your heart and feel what peace feels like. What does peace feel like within you?
Soft, easy.
Yeah. So if you can feel it, it means it's already there. Which means all you have to do is direct, align the cells in your body to start perceiving and aligning with that feeling of peace. So if you stay in your heart and you feel that softness, feel that sense of peace within your heart, that's your power center. And now, because you're in your power and you're focused in your power center, you can expand that from you. You don't get what you think you need. You don't get what you want that's somewhere out there. You get more of what you are. And that's the only way it could ever be. So if you want more peace, you've got to activate the peace within you and direct every cell of your body to align with a feeling of peace. It might take a minute. It might take 5 minutes. It might take 2 breaths if you practice it. But if you take a deep breath and you move into your heart and you feel peace, now direct every cell of your body to align with the frequency of peace. Can you feel that?
Yes.
You feel peaceful?
Yes.
You just created what you want. You just created exactly what you want. And now, as you notice that every cell of your body is aligned with a state of peace, first of all, that's more than enough, because you'll just get more peace. And when you're perceiving that your reality is a peaceful one, you will expand your reality to draw to you more and more and more peace.
Mm-hmm.
And if you will stay in that, you will begin to expand from you through your light, through your vibration, which is an extension of you in every direction, which is your force field. You will draw to you all sorts of things that reflect to you in your reality greater and greater peace. And if you will be aware of that, you will see the power you have in any moment to create your life experience. You understand?
Yes, Thompson.
Really good. We love you, our friend. Thank you.
I love you, Council. Thank you.
Indeed. And be aware, because if you hear us say this and you have the understanding, what happens is, as you then begin to take your state of peace, which is your being, out into the world, the second you start judging something, yourself, others, what's right, what's wrong, you're going to find yourself back in resistance. And you're going to find yourself back in reaction. And that's when you ask yourself, or you come present in the moment and you say, I want peace. I've got to find it within me. And you practice, you practice, you practice. And it will become so much easier. The world you see around you is an extension of the world that exists within you. It can be no other way. If you want to experience a more peaceful, loving, harmonious world around you, you must first create it within you. You must first create it within you. The war is not out there. The war is in you. You warring with yourself. The battle's in you. The lack of love is in you. Lack of love for you. When you fully love yourself for all that you are, it's easy to love the world. When you have harmony within yourself, harmony with you and you and you and all the different parts of you, and you accept yourself, you'll have harmony with the world, and it'll be easy to accept others where they are. You cause your own suffering when you think you know what another soul's journey should be, when you think you know what's right and wrong. When you create a harmonious, loving, peaceful world within you, you will realize it around you. When you accept yourself and you love yourself and you celebrate yourself, those around you will reflect that back to you, which means you will feel so accepted and loved and celebrated in your life. But it was never about them. It was about you creating it within you. And you don't even have to create it. It's who you are. It's who you are. You're everything you wish to be. You already are. So we'll go to another question. Our friend, are you there? Our friend, are you there? You're on. We believe it is our friend Kim. Well,
yes, sorry, I'm here.
Yes. Hello,
I
our
am,
friend.
yes.
What is your question?
This is my first experience of yourself and the council. I'm really just enjoying listening to what you have to sort of say and things like that, and really just want to know how to create the inner peace and just generally connect.
We say to you, our friend, all you need to know is that it is possible. You have to believe and know that it's possible for you to create peace within you. Now, we understand you might never have seen anyone who lives at the level of peace that you want for you. But that's why you're here. You're here to first create that peace within you so that others may remember what is possible for them too. Why do you want peace?
To lead a happy life for myself and my family, and just generally the best experience possible.
So choose it. Choose it. We want you to understand something. You are choosing all day long. You are making choices. You chose what you ate for breakfast. You chose what you ate for lunch. You chose what you wore today. You chose how you fixed your hair. You chose everything. Even when people tell us we have to go to work, you're choosing. You're choosing. And part of realizing yourself is the master that you are, is taking full and total responsibility for your life and your choices. If you're feeling anything other than inner peace, you're choosing thoughts that hold you powerless, that make you feel like you don't have any ability to control your life. You're choosing to stay in limitation. You're choosing to live in the future or in the past instead of in the moment, which is the only place you will find inner peace. So we invite you to do the same exercise. And, our friend, we say this all with such great love for you. We know the courage it takes to come into the human experience at this time and be a way shower. But we think peace is what you most want for everyone that you care about. We think peace is what you most want for the world. And the only way you contribute to peace in the world is through you, by first creating it within you. So when you come into the moment and you take a breath, this one simple exercise will really help you. Close your eyes and move your attention from your head down into your heart. Just make that simple shift from being in your head, in your thinking mind, down into your heart. Can you feel that?
Yes.
Yeah, that's it. Just practice that and feel for the peace that is already within you. You actually don't have to create it. Really good. We love you, our friend. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Our next question, are you there?
Hello?
Hello, our friend. What is your question?
Yes. I retired in 2018, and my question is, I haven't been doing much of anything, so I want to know what the council sees, if you will.
You've forgotten how to play.
I forgot what?
You have forgotten how to play. You worked all those years so that you could retire and do what you wanted to do and have fun and do the things that bring you joy, and you're not allowing yourself to do the things that bring you joy. In fact, you can barely remember what it is that brings you joy or what it's like to play and have fun, because you were in the belief system and you programmed yourself to believe that you always have to work and effort in order to be enough. And you still haven't accepted that. You're more than enough. And there's nothing out there that you could possibly ever do to earn your right to be here in this life and be joyful and have fun. So we want you to do this one exercise. When you feel, so we get from you that you don't feel very passionate, you don't feel very inspired, you don't feel very excited, just sort of getting by. And as soon as you shift your perspective, which means to program yourself to start focusing on and perceiving joy, you'll start to move yourself into a more joyful state, and things will get lighter, and you'll start feeling more playful in your life. So what, if you were to ask yourself, what brings you joy? What really brings you joy?
Well, I'm singing and going out into the garden. I do these things. You know, I play my guitar, I sing, I go out and do the yard work, and I do those things, but I haven't really like gone back into the quote unquote world, if you will. I'm just in the house, and I am happy. But I just want to, I guess, shift and do more, if you will.
So we would shift your perspective to, it's not about going out in the world. It's about being aware of your reality. And are you totally satiated in your life? So when you're out in the garden, are you just doing something to stay busy that you like?
No, I like.
Or are you feeling totally satiated? Do you feel totally satiated? Your senses, what you see, what you hear, what you smell, the roses, the flowers, the beautiful colors.
Yes.
So if you focus on that, you will expand that. You get more of what you are. When you're dancing, when you're singing, we want you to know that you are dancing with all of creation. You are harmonizing with all of creation. You could not be more in and of the world when that is your experience.
Right. No, you're right.
So,
I do. I
understand?
feel. Yeah, I do. I feel. I feel happy. I am happy. You know. I mean, it's.
So you just still think you have to do something. You just think that there's still some big goal to accomplish or something to do. The most important thing you could do is live your life to the fullest. That doesn't mean staying really busy and making lots of money and going and doing. It means living your life fully. Is you allowing yourself to fully experience what it is that you want to experience with your life. So when you wake up in the morning, instead of saying, what should I do today? I have the whole day, I'm retired, what should I do? We want you to shift your perspective to, what do I want to experience today? And most of the time, it's going to be more joy, more freedom, more love, more happiness, more beauty. And if you will allow yourself to then experience more beauty, more joy, more peace, that will expand, and you will start having, in the fifth dimension of consciousness, you start moving into oneness. Oneness never meant that you take a whole society of awakened spiritual people and then they all live exactly the same and choose the same and do everything the same. That's not what oneness means. Oneness means that you allow yourself to become one and dance with all of creation, with all of the beauty and everything, because it's all here for you. The trees, the birds, they are here for you. The sun, the air, the ocean, it is all here for you. Can you really allow yourself to realize how important you are? All of this is here for you, to enjoy, to delight in, to explore, to experience the beauty, the love, the passion. All of it is here for you. You understand?
Yeah.
We couldn't be more excited about your life and where you are. Just start allowing yourself to experience everything that's here for you.
I do that when I go out there. I'm like a child.
Do that more. Do that more. You get to be a child with all of the wisdom. And all of the love and all of the brilliance and magnificence that you are and that you have become in this life. So, really good, our friend. We love you. Thank you for your question.
Yes. Blessings. Love you. Bye-bye.
Indeed. Our next question, are you there?
Hello?
Hello, our friend. What is your question?
Are you talking to me?
Yes, Maria.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't even know you had my
question?
name already because nobody asked me, so I was like, how are you doing this? I'm sorry. This is the first time I'm calling, so I was listening to everything. Things have been complicated for a really long time, and I was trying to figure out how to actually ask anything because there's been so much going on with my health, depression, hope, my Social Security, and loans that have not gotten resolved, and how to deal with all that and to keep moving forward and not recede back and not wanting to live.
So, we understand. You have expanded beyond the level of density and limitation you've been holding yourself in. And we say that with absolutely no judgment whatsoever. We have nothing but love for you. We honor you and where you are in this human experience from the highest vantage point of all that you are. And we tell you, you have expanded beyond the lack and the limitation and the struggle you hold yourself in with the judgment you have of yourself and the shame that you feel for not having gotten it right or fixed it all. And it's time for you to let that all go. It actually takes a lot of work to hold yourself at this point in the level of limitation that you're in. None of those things, none of those challenges will be solved by the dimension of consciousness that you were in when you, we're not going to say created them, because we know you would never, ever intentionally create any of those things. But if you can shift your perspective to start feeling the truth that there's a gift here, there's an opportunity here, there's a potential trying to present itself to you. As you begin to elevate your state of consciousness, things will begin to resolve themselves, solutions will present, incredibly miraculous things will begin to happen in your life. But you must move, and not even move, allow yourself to be in a state of consciousness where you feel free and joyful and peaceful. And you will begin to draw to you a different reality. It's not about fixing the current reality. That's what you try to do when you're in levels of density, in limitation. You try to fix your reality. We don't want you to fix your reality. We want you to start drawing to you a new reality through your perception. So in your new reality, what do you want more of?
Everything good. Peace, freedom, health.
Yeah.
Freedom, really, in every aspect, to speak my truth.
Yeah.
Boundaries. Have fun, have dreams, and I'll allow myself to dream and not need anyone else's permission to live my life when I'm already a good person, and what I do say is to create more good, typically.
So here's what we want you to practice. Say that again. But there's a few moments where you moved yourself into limitation. You moved yourself into lack and powerlessness. I want to live my life the way I want without anybody else's approval. You don't need anybody else's approval. You don't need anybody else's approval. You never did. You just believed you did. You just carried a limitation. You were taught a very limited belief that said you needed someone's permission, but you know you don't. So when you tell the story, and we want you to tell the story about what you want more of in your life, from the perspective that the universe only says yes. So when you say, I don't want more of this, understand that the reality that you're drawing to you is more of that. If you can tell us what you want more of, then it's already moving into your reality. If you cannot put into words or a vision or a vibration what you want, then the universe cannot, you cannot draw to you in your reality the experience of it. This is really important. So if you could say it again, tell us what you want. More of everything good. I want more of everything good. More self-love, more freedom, more ability to create what I want, more experiences that I enjoy, more abundance, more harmony in all of my relationships, more well-being and energy in my body, more vitality, more passion, more feeling each day so inspired by my life, more abundance in all areas of my life, more beauty, more joy. I want more fun. I want more feelings that I'm creating and being playful. I want more collaboration with people that I enjoy. I want more of everything good. Do you feel the difference in that?
Yes.
So you don't have to say this to anyone else, but journal about it, write about it, talk about it, think about it, so you can say it in the same vibration that we said it to you. And do you know how we know what we just said? Because there is a vibrational reality where some part of you is already in a dimension of consciousness where you know that experience is here for you. So do you understand what we're saying?
Yes.
Yeah. Really good. Can you feel the difference? Can you feel the shift?
A little bit. It's more about being more concise and putting the energy of what it is that you want to feel behind it. And here's
why. You don't get what you want. You don't get what you need. You get more of what you already are. And where you have been is in resistance and struggle, and you get more of what you are, more resistance, more struggle, more feelings of limitation. This is why. It's not just getting into the feeling because that feels good and sounds good. It's not about raising your vibration because that's a catchy term. You raise your vibration to access a higher state of consciousness where you elevate your potential and the possibilities for your experience. You get into the feeling because unless you find it within you, it's already there. Unless you align with it within you, you can't create more of it. You get more of what you are. So ask yourself, what do I want more of? You know, all the good stuff. All the good stuff. What's the good stuff? Harmonious relationships, a healthy, energetic, vibrant body, abundance and beauty, freedom.
How do you deal with, like, if you get into depression and you wake up with it?
You're in depression because you're not because you're in resistance and reaction. When you go into that resistance, you shut down, you close down, you slow your energy. That moves you into dense, a very dense, heavy rate of vibration. It feels really constricting. It feels really lonely. It feels really heavy. And so, of course, you're going to feel a sense of depression if you're in that state for any long period of time. It's not who you are. It's not the truth of who you are. You are not stuck. It doesn't have to be your story. It doesn't have to be your new reality. But when you feel yourself go into that resistance, if you do nothing else but close your eyes and open your arms out as wide as you can and breathe and feel a sense of expansion, you cannot move into resistance. If you practice this, we absolutely promise you that you will train your body to expand instead of contract, which means to open and allow, which means to open and allow more energy, which means to allow energy to serve you, which means you will move into a peaceful, joyful, expanded state. And in a very short period of time, our friend, you will wake up with a smile on your face and say, I love my life. And I love myself. You'll say, thank you. Thank you. Thank you to you for remembering who you really are. We promise you. And we encourage you to listen back to this often. We are always with you, and we are always available to you. And if you listen to this again and again, you will hear more. But more than anything, you will begin to more easily elevate your vibration. Our transmissions to you, while our words are so important to you shifting your perspective of what's possible for your life and elevating your consciousness, we are merely entertaining your magnificent brain so that you can maintain a higher frequency for a little longer and a little longer each time. And before you know it, you will shift into a more elevated state of being. And life will open up to you because you are opening and allowing the energy which is life force, which creates worlds, which is the source of all that is, to flow through you. Really good. So our next question, are you there?
Yes, I am. So happy to be here with you. Thank you so much for being here with us. The last time I asked a question, your response to me was that I should apply the 3 C's in my life: contribution, collaboration, or co-creation, and connection. And I've been pondering this for quite a while. I think it's been a while, a long time since you gave me that response. And, you know, I have things like winter in Toronto, and I'd like to be in Florida for you know, this part of the year. I have things like I'm 71 years old, and how do I get my message out to the world? And, you know,
what do you want to say? So let's just shift your perspective and your reality for a second. You are live with hundreds of people all over the world in this moment, and thousands of people that are going to listen to this. Connection, collaboration, contribution, what would you like to say? Because this is your reality here and now.
Well, what I'd like to say is all the things that you're saying, because, you know...
Say them. You say them.
Let
it come through you.
Yeah, well, I'd like it to come through me, and I'd like the platform. I'd like the opportunity. I just haven't made it for myself. I haven't created it.
Imagine that you have 20 seconds to say 1 or 2 sentences that will bring peace or love or joy to anyone, anytime, whoever hears your words, as simple as they may be. What do you most want humanity to remember?
The peace, the love, the joy, the equanimity, the fullness, the fulfillment that they already are. That we all are as creators of this universe, as one with our Creator.
Perfect. And you know who needed to most remember that?
I say it every day. I say it every day. I just have to get it out there, and I haven't.
You're out there. You just created the experience. You just said it to thousands of people. You did. So don't create the gap in your experience. That's all that's going on here. When we say you don't need to move into lack, limitation, and create separation to get more of what you want to experience, this is exactly what we mean. You've just been creating the separation or the gap between where you are and what you want, which means that you continue to create a reality that had to reflect that back to you. When your perception is that it's not here or it's not possible, when you're perceiving it as not in your reality, you don't create it in your reality.
Yes, I totally agree with you. And part of that is I don't want to get on a stage. I don't want to do a podcast. I don't want to do
don't need to do any of that. See, who buys the food that you eat?
Me.
And where do you get it?
In the store.
There's your stage. There's your platform. There are probably people in that store who need your love and your wisdom and your light and your consciousness more than anyone else. You have people in your reality all day long.
Is that enough?
Whose lives could be changed. Yes, it's enough. It's so more than enough. And as you do it and you allow it to be satiating to you,
I do it.
It will expand.
I do it all the time, every opportunity I get. I don't know why it doesn't satiate me. I don't know why I'm not fulfilled, but all of that happens all the time, what I'm telling you.
It's a belief that you're still not good enough.
Yes, it is. Yes.
Because you haven't helped enough people.
Yes, it is. Yes.
Yeah. And if you don't help enough people, then you didn't live your purpose.
Yes,
which
exactly.
Means, when you leave this life experience, you could possibly end up in some really terrible place because you got your purpose wrong.
Not necessarily. No.
Right.
I'm not going anywhere that way.
Right. No.
I've gone way too far up or expanded to go to any place that I don't like.
So then why would you ever fear not getting your purpose right if you know that there's no way it's not even possible for you to not get your purpose right?
I just want to do more.
Why?
I really loved what you said about connection and collaboration and co-creation and contribution, but I don't know how to do it any more than I'm already doing it. Even though I feel like I am doing it, it just doesn't feel like it's enough. Why doesn't it feel like enough? Because of all those things that you mentioned, and if I can just drop those, then you say I will just be fulfilled.
So from where you are here and now, so let go of any old story, anything from different levels of awareness or consciousness, and be here totally now.
I am.
And tell us the one thing you want more of.
Love.
Yeah.
Joy.
So, yeah.
Peace.
Yeah.
Fulfillment.
Yeah. So like we told our first caller, you're just not allowing yourself to fully go with all you've expanded into. You have so much love. You have so much peace within you. You have so much joy within you. You will find the freedom to experience it when you stop thinking that you should do more.
Okay. All
just
right.
be more. Just be more loving. Be more joyful. Be more peaceful.
So what you said before about connection and contribution and co-creation and collaboration doesn't go anymore. It doesn't apply anymore.
It'll happen. It'll happen.
Okay.
It'll happen. It's happened. You just haven't totally realized how much it's happened. But always, this goes with intuition. You get an inspired idea.
Always.
You have some intuition come to you, but then you stick on to it and you don't continue to tune into your intuition. Intuition is a moment-by-moment thing.
Sure.
Wisdom is the highest words in the moment. It's the highest knowing in the moment. It's a state of consciousness you get in, and you know what you need to know. You know where you need to go. You know exactly the next perfect step. Intuition is the same thing.
All the time.
So we might have said something 5 years ago that we would say different now where you are now in this state of awareness, in this state of consciousness. Because you're ready to hear that. It's perfect. Trust yourself. Trust yourself. Trust yourself. Oh, if you could see you from our perspective, you could not be more magnificent and brilliant and absolutely divine. Here in form. It's just magnificent. So
I love
we
you
love
so
you,
much.
our friend.
Thank
you
so much
for your question.
Thank you.
Indeed. You are absolutely going to realize yourself as the master that you are of your life experience. Mastery is not about massive amounts of fame, massive amounts of money, massive amounts of stuff. That's not mastery. It can be that. Mastering your life experience is you living your life to the fullest, fully living, fully loving yourself, and experiencing your life the way you wish it to be. That is mastery. That is knowing yourself as the master that you are. The master is free to live the life they choose. You are free to live the life you choose for you. You can allow yourself to live in a state of flow and ease and harmony and grace. You can realize that everything is here. You don't have to create the lack of it to enjoy the beauty of all of creation. And when you do fully realize yourself as the master that you are, you will realize that it is in your own self-realization that you illuminate the potential for all of humankind, that you seed into human consciousness potential to live in heaven on earth, here and now, with greater levels of peace, greater levels of love, greater levels of joy, greater levels of abundance, greater levels of harmony, where you play and create with effortless ease, always in the truth and the knowing that you are everything everything you wish to be. You already are. So, we have enjoyed this interaction with you so very much. We love you. We love you. We could not love you more. And with that, we are complete.